Beat the Bills.
Because sometimes I'm like, you be saying some things about him winning against good teams when he, like, sometimes...
Pull it up. Tell me if I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong.
Relax, I'm pulling him up.
But I know he beat the Bills.
Where the fuck is anyone from the Broncos at? Teams.
What's going on, guys? My name is Jake DeYoung. I got my boy Sean, who normally sits here, and my boy Dawson, who normally sits here. This is not your average casual.
Where's teams at?
Can't find a receiver up there.
I did. Cortland Sutton at 700 yards.
Ouch.
They lost to the Raiders. They lost to the Commanders. The Commanders? The ones that pick in third overall in the draft? Interesting. The Raiders. Here we go. He lost to the Raiders. He lost to the Patriots, who were picking second. Was that a top 10 team? They lost to the Lions. They lost to the Texans.
He beat the Bills. He beat the Vikings. He beat the Browns.
The Vikings. Do you want to know who played quarterback in this game?
The Packers.
He beat top 10 teams. This was Josh Dobbs. He beat Josh Dobbs by 1 point. We were 6-5. Yeah, there's one.
Chiefs.
There's two. Okay, so he beat two good teams.
Russell Wilson did.
Oh, here's your boy. Let's see how your boy played since Jordan Love's so good. Oh, he had 180 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick, and lost to the Broncos? Interesting. Interesting.
Because Russell Wilson's good.
Russ threw for 194 yards. That's not good. That's mid. He threw for less than 200 yards. That's mid. They scored 19 points. That's the thing, is like, you're acting like these are crazy stats. Even the Bills game, he didn't even throw for 200 yards. He had 79 rushing yards from Javonte Williams. What was the scoring breakdown? How many field goals did they kick because he couldn't finish a drive? Okay, he threw a touchdown.
I will say
1
Russell
field goal,
Wilson
2
is
field
not
goals,
good at
3
finishing
field
drives.
goals, 4 field goals.
Russell Wilson does not know how to finish drives. That's just a fact.
Cortland Sutton played great. He had 53 yards and a touchdown on 8 catches. They kicked 4 field goals. That was Russ, though, with his less than 200 passing yards?
I think you give him the same weapons that Stafford had. He's playing like Stafford.
That's what I'm saying. What weapons did Stafford had? He missed Cooper Kupp for 5 games. He missed Kyron Williams for 5 games. He just had Puka, and he was still winning games. With just Puka.
Okay, 5 games is not a lot for a fucking 17 games.
Only a third of them, right? Only about a third of them.
12 games, though?
You're saying losing your weapons for a third of the season is not a lot.
They were both out, but they weren't always out in the same game.
If he went 0-5 in those games, they would have to win out to make the playoffs.
Yeah, but it wasn't 5 games with both Puka and Kyrie out the same.
He played multiple games with them both out.
Yes, but not all 5.
And he still won. He won with injuries, just like Brock, who you give credit for it. Now you want to take away from Stafford for doing the same thing.
I'm not taking away from Stafford.
You're saying he's worse than Russell Wilson.
I'm not saying that. I am saying Russell Wilson didn't have weapons like Stafford.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
Stafford's weapons weren't healthy. You're acting like he also had them all year.
They were healthy for 12 games, and he had Puka Nacua healthy the entire season.
They were out for a third of the season.
Not
is
Puka.
what I'm not.
Puka was in the entire season.
Okay, Cortland Sutton played the entire season, and in these games where you're trying to say Russ played so great, these games you're trying to say Russ played so great.
Puka double the pass yards of Cortland.
No one's saying Sutton's better than Puka. The Broncos' defense is more talented than the Rams.
Yeah, but when your number 2 receiver is better than the number 1 on another team, that says something.
Well, not when the alleged number 1 isn't even playing. The one that you're talking about being in front of Puka wasn't playing.
Yeah, but still, that means Stafford had better weapons.
Okay.
And he was better, so that makes sense. He was better. He was better than him.
He had a better season. I'm not saying
one of them made the playoffs.
I'm saying
one of them made the playoffs.
I'm saying if you get
with less defense.
Bro, you sit here and say that with
less defense, more injuries, made the playoffs.
Now you're flipping. You're Herbert.
Less defense, more injuries, made the playoffs.
So if Herbert had all those weapons,
less defense, more injuries, made the playoffs.
More injuries is a stretch.
No, it's not.
Javonte got hurt for a while.
No, Javonte was hurt last year. Check your facts. He was coming off of an injury. He wasn't hurt. He's coming off of an injury.
He got hurt in a game.
No, he missed the end of a game. Yes, because he was coming off a torn ACL. They had to ease him back into the lineup.
On my fantasy
he was coming off a torn ACL and had to be eased back into the lineup. You're right. He didn't play full games because he's coming off a torn ACL.
Yeah. So that don't tell me check our facts when I'm right.
Okay, so Higbee missed time. He blew up his knee against Kirby Joseph and the Rams. And Cooper missed time. Cooper missed time. His running back missed time. He has a worse defense, and he played better. Who else got hurt on the Broncos?
Defense let the Dolphins drop 70 on them.
They would have dropped 70. They would have dropped numbers on the Rams too.
They couldn't stop the run game to save their lives.
Name me 5 starters on the Rams defense.
So to say that.
Name me 5 starters on the Rams defense.
Aaron Donald.
One.
Yeah, but bro,
One. Yeah. I can tell you half of the Broncos defense. Fucking Justin Simmons and Patrick Surtain are all pros.
Yeah.
Patrick Surtain is nasty in court. Or
That's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
You're humping Russell Wilson's leg right now. I'm not saying he's bad, but say he's better than Stafford, who's won a bowl with the worst team and was better last year with dealing with more injuries is insane. Matt Stafford is better than Russell Wilson at quarterback.
yeah, but Carson had a 700-yard season. Put Jerry Jeudy probably was like 200, 300.
He did not have 200. I promise you.
Even as a Seahawks fan,
he had 750.
Okay.
Yeah. 750. 200. See, you're humping Russ's leg a little bit.
I don't.
You're humping his leg a little bit.
I don't know his seasons. I just know he played bad.
Sutton, also almost 800. So you're humping Russ's leg a little bit, so you didn't have help. Javonte sure had some games in here, huh? So did Jaleel McLaughlin. 72, 68, 82, 85, 79, 65.
Near to Kyrie Williams.
The ones that he played. Let's look at who the rushing leaders were in the Rams games when Kyrie Williams was playing. It's going to be like 30 yards. It's like 30 yards.
My man, I'm not.
You're downplaying Stafford way
I'm not
too much.
downplaying Stafford.
One of them made the playoffs and almost beat the Lions.
I'm just saying, if Russell Wilson wasn't battling against his own coach, wasn't battling against his own management, had the same weapons as Stafford, it's the same season.
Yeah, but if he had the same weapons as Stafford, he wouldn't win games in Stafford's situations.
Don't
where he
sit
didn't have a
here
running
and
back
say
to
if
Cooper.
Herbert had the same seasons as Purdy, he'd be just as good.
No, because he's proved it and Russ hasn't. Russ threw 20 touchdowns and 7 interceptions.
Russ has a ring.
Yeah, playing with the best defense of all time. The best defense of all time. The best defense of all time.
Also with a running back that was...
Yeah, with a Hall of Fame running back and the best defense of all time.
Now weapons are good. Now weapons make sense.
When they're on the field, Matt Stafford, Cooper Kupp. He played 12 games. Russ's Super Bowl. 2/3. He missed a third of the season. A third of the season.
That's still enough to get you into the playoffs.
If you fucking win out, he won games without Cooper Kupp and Kyrie Williams.
Win you games. Yeah, which is great for him.
Yeah, and we're acting like his weapons did it for him. Matt Stafford is insane.
Puka Nacua is insane.
I genuinely, the more we get in, I hope that we get views just so people can spank Sean's bias in the comments.
No, because the problem is you sit here and you go, but if this person had weapons, and then you flip the script and you say, but if this
No,
person...
because the difference is you're arguing for Russ, who didn't put up great numbers, put up good numbers in an offense without weapons. Justin Herbert, with limited weapons, did put up great numbers with also a lack of weapons. His number one was a 33-year-old with a bad hamstring. Ooh, Keenan Allen, a bad hamstring, 33 years old.
Sutton.
Yeah, he's better than Sutton. Who else was on the Chargers offense? You gonna say Eckler, who also missed games? You gonna say Mike Williams, who missed games?
Everett.
Gerald Everett.
I think it's an argument to have, and I think
I'm excited for him to get benched mid-season so that I can laugh in your face about Justin Fields being better than him.
Bro,
he's gonna get benched.
You know, I don't sit here about to say that about your team.
I'll throw $20 on it right now. I'm telling you, as someone who's watched the tape. I'll bet you $20 Russ gets benched.
Yo, do an over/under like week 12 or week
I'll do
13.
$20 on it. Why not?
$20. He's gonna get benched.
Russell wasn't going to be benched mid-season.
He's gonna get benched, and it'll be $20.
Does that count for week 18? Whenever
no, it's going to be performance based. At a certain point, they're going to be playing mid or bad, and they're going to say Justin Fields. Because if he gets benched for performance, he's not a top 10 quarterback. Quarterbacks don't do that when they're top 10.
Like a minor injury.
I didn't say injury. I said benched. Benched would be he gets yanked from the game, not he gets hurt. Benched would be at a certain point they're getting their ass kicked or they're playing bad and they're like, fuck it, Justin.
The Steelers have built their team right up right now so that.
Sean, I'm understanding of a guy getting benched. Top 10 quarterbacks don't get benched. Top 10 quarterbacks don't get benched.
MVP Matt Ryan eventually got benched.
Not when he was an MVP. Not when he was top 10.
Yeah, when he was like
not when he was top 10.
35.
When he was on the Colts and he was bottom 10.
Yeah, fair. All right, yeah, if I'm going to put him in the top 10, he shouldn't get benched. All right, you know what?
That's why I'm like, I'll put 20 on it because maybe I'm wrong. But if he gets benched, he's clearly not top 10.
I think, though, the odds of him getting benched are a lot higher than any other top 10 quarterback because of the
But that's my counter argument with these guys like Stafford and Hurts.
Behind him is a starting quarterback.
You could say that about Jalen Hurts because Kenny Pickett is viewed in the league, whether we like it or not, as a potential starter.
Yeah, but Justin plays so much better than Kenny Pickett.
Yeah.
He really did. Justin Fields?
Yeah, he's so
He didn't play that much better.
I think looking
I think he is better, but he didn't play that much.
No, statistic-wise, no. I'm going to do SBC real quick. Do you want to fill up your drink?
Yeah. Start bench cut.
Yeah. Let's go with this one because I know you're going to have a bigger reach than he is. Start bench cut. Bo Nix, Drake May, Michael Penix.
I'm starting Drake May because if you talk to me about his draft content or like draft content at all, you know that actually, for me, Drake May and Caleb Williams are 1A, 1B.
Right.
I think they're similar prospects. I don't think Penix and Bo are on that level. So for me, if it's start bench cut, Drake May, Bo Nix, Michael Penix, Drake May is my starter.
Okay.
And here's my thing. When it comes to bench or cut, obviously, you see the jersey. I'm a Bo Nix guy. But also, the reason I would bench Bo Nix and cut Michael Penix is because Bo Nix is almost like the safer option, if that makes sense. As a Ducks fan, he doesn't make mistakes. Penix doesn't make a lot of mistakes either, but he makes, he's a gunslinger. He'd be throwing it downfield.
He is, yeah.
Bo is kind of like, he has upside to be a starting quarterback. At the very worst, I think he's a good backup because he takes the checkdowns. He's a good athlete. He's a smart quarterback. I think Penix is more suited maybe to be a starter than Bo, but as a backup, in the hypothetical that Drake May gets hurt and one of these guys has to come in and win a game for me, I'll take Bo because I know he's not going to try to do too much. He's going to come in, he's going to run the ball well, he's going to make smart throws, he's going to hit his checkdowns. I think Penix is good, but might come in and try to make a game-winning throw and throw a pick, potentially.
Okay.
So, it's not to say that Penix is worse than Bo Nix, but Bo Nix is just built in a way that he's kind of like the perfect backup quarterback, and he could develop into a starting quarterback.
See, but you're saying that he's a winner more than Michael Penix is. But how is he more of a winner when he beat Oregon twice?
The winner is J.J. McCarthy.
That
man has the best winning record in college football.
People don't want to talk about. I think he's better than both of them.
You think J.J. McCarthy's better than Penix?
He's my QB3. He's better than Jaden Daniels.
Really?
He's better than Jaden Daniels.
I would agree he's better than Jaden Daniels. I think Jaden Daniels is so overhyped.
He had like a 9.
Because my thing about Bo Nix, as an Oregon fan, I've been in person to watch Bo Nix,
sure.
And I've watched every single game start to finish. There hasn't been a play that Bo Nix was a part of that I didn't watch for 2 years. I'm telling you, here's the thing about Bo Nix and why I think he is a better prospect for what I would want in a quarterback than Michael Penix. Is they're both very similar athletically.
Okay.
Penix won head-to-head. That's very true. True.
Oregon was not better with a better defense.
Oregon wasn't as good as Washington this year. The reason I would take Bo Nix is because Bo Nix, in an NFL offense, what do rookie quarterbacks struggle with? They try to do too much. They try to create too much, and they adjust to the speed of the game.
But Michael Penix doesn't try to create too much. He sits in the pocket because he got injured with his leg, and so therefore he doesn't scramble
and
as much.
That's my thing with him and potential complacency is that if being met with college contact made him shy away and stay in the pocket, what is NFL contact going to do? That's not to say he's injury prone, but I'm saying if he doesn't want to get hit or hurt in college contact, it only gets higher up in the NFL.
Yeah.
Bo Nix didn't have injury problems in college. He's built with a sturdier frame than Michael Penix.
Is he younger than Michael?
They're the same age.
Oh, they are.
Which also, I just want to say, as an Oregon fan, has made me so mad all year that everybody goes off about Bo Nix's age, because he and Michael Penix are the same age.
Yeah.
And Bo Nix doesn't have the injury history.
Yeah.
I think Michael Penix's injury history is overblown. I think it's really overblown because they happened at the start of his career. He's so far removed from them that, what are we doing?
I mean,
he cleared his medicals.
He
cleared his medicals.
Yeah.
I think he's a potential starting quarterback. The reason I'd take Bo Nix is because back when we were growing up, the knock on Oregon quarterbacks, Pac-12 quarterbacks, was they play in such a gimmicky offense. That's the NFL offense now. That's Sean McVay. That's Kyle Shanahan. I watched Bo Nix every single snap for 2 years. He looks like Brock Purdy. He makes smart throws. He doesn't miss. He runs when he needs to.
He's quick.
He doesn't run too much. He makes on-the-fly decisions. He's got escapability. Not to say Michael Penix doesn't have those things, but Oregon's offense, I think, prepares you more for the NFL than Washington's, because Washington's is a vertical scheme that not a lot of NFL teams do.
Yeah.
If he was in Buffalo's scheme, like Josh Allen, in stretching the field like that constantly, he's probably a better prospect than Bo Nix. But Bo Nix fits in every single system, and I don't know if Penix does. So I think I'd take Bo as my backup because he's so adaptable.
Gotcha.
So I'd start Drake May. I think he's way better than both of them. But I'd take Bo because no matter what I'm doing, Bo's going to have something.
Okay.
So.
Okay. Gotcha. All right. Number 2, Jahmyr Gibbs, Bijan Robinson, and Rachaad White.
Start bench cut. I'll let you go first since I did the QBs.
I'm starting with Jahmyr Gibbs.
Starting with Jahmyr Gibbs. I'd start
so
with
then you got
Rachaad
a bench.
White.
You got to bench White or Robinson and cut one.
I'm cutting White and I'm benching.
You're cutting White?
I mean,
I'm cutting White and I'm starting Bijan.
Really?
I'm starting Bijan over Gibbs.
Okay, the Bijan start I get. I'm taking White over Gibbs.
Gibbs was so good, but my thing is,
it was because he had David
in
Montgomery.
terms of carries, he had a similar workload to Bijan.
Montgomery, yeah, but
Bijan,
his yards per carry.
I've just seen Bijan do things, and let's not. The Lions have the best offensive line not named the Eagles in football. They do.
Yeah.
And the Falcons have not a bad one, but a mid offensive line.
A decent one. They have
we all watched Falcons games. I'm sure I know you and I did. Their coach just had a vendetta against Bijan Robinson. Tyler Algier had no business getting those carries. He had no reason. There was a game where I know because I bet on Bijan Robinson. I think they have a touchdown in like 80 rushing yards. I believe it was against the Buccaneers, where he wasn't on the injury report and he didn't touch the field until the fourth quarter. And they got fined for it because after the game he said, he was sick. And the NFL was like, you didn't report that. So my thing is, I take Bijan over Gibbs because neither of them has seen a primary running back's workload. And Bijan just had so much more working against him. He had bad coaching. He had a mid-offensive line. He had bad quarterback play. Jahmyr Gibbs is so good. He's a borderline top 10 back in my opinion. But he had an incredible offensive line. Amon-Ra and Sam Laporta to take the pressure off him. Jared Goff playing quarterback. A solid defense. I think Jahmyr Gibbs is so good. Bijan, the fact that it's a conversation tells me it's Bijan because Bijan did all that without those things.
Yeah.
I don't want to take away from Jahmyr, but
Bijan didn't do all that because he didn't get to play.
He still almost had 1,000 yards, didn't he?
Which is insane.
I'm pretty sure he still almost had 1,000 yards.
But are you guys really selling on Rachaad White?
I just don't think he's better than either of those
Buccaneers. Bro, I bet on him to score multiple times throughout the year.
But he had multiple good receivers to take the pressure off of him, and neither of those running backs did.
Jahmyr Gibbs would have had more touchdowns if Montgomery wasn't there. Because Montgomery would,
Montgomery definitely had a lot of touchdowns.
Jahmyr Gibbs would get them down the field, and then Montgomery would take
Gibbs had less rushing yards than Bijan. Neither of them had crazy seasons.
Yeah, because he was sharing it.
But what about receiving yards?
He only had 20 less carries.
What about receiving yards? Because both of them were receiving backs, and that was where they were kind of used more so. I'm just baffled that you guys just don't respect Rachaad like that.
Rachaad White he also didn't crack 1,000 yards, and he wasn't sharing carries.
990.
Bro, he had almost 100 more carries than Gibbs, and he also didn't crack 1,000 yards. How is he better than Gibbs?
Because he's consistent. When you think
he
about
had 60 more carries than Bijan.
Think about Adrian Peterson. Adrian Peterson was a consistent 3 to 5 yards every carry. That's what Rachaad White was right there.
He averaged 3.6 per carry, which is significantly worse than both of our guys.
Really?
Bijan averaged 4.6, Gibbs averaged 5.2, which is why I'm if you want to make a case for Gibbs, I'll give it to you. I don't agree with it, but I'll give it to you. Rachaad White, I don't think he touches these guys because he had, compared to Bijan, he had almost 60 more carries than Bijan and only 14 more yards.
Okay.
Compared to Gibbs, he had almost 90 more carries and only 50 more yards. There's no way that guy's better than either of those running backs.
Okay.
Yeah, but you gotta realize more carries doesn't necessarily mean you're gonna get more yards.
But it means you're getting more chances to get more yards.
Yeah, but there's a reason he had more yards per play. Gibbs.
Right. Third and 1.
No, that's why I'm telling you. I'll hear Gibbs over Bijan. I don't agree with it, but I don't think that Rachaad has a chance against him.
Receivers, the targets make sense with running backs. More grabs doesn't necessarily mean more yards because sometimes you might just get 1 yard.
I think if Bijan and Gibbs had Rachaad White carries, they would have significantly more yards.
I don't know because
in those situations
it's still lower, so less carries.
Like the
No, his yards per Gibbs and Robinson had more yards per carry on less carries
No, I'm saying Gibbs was higher than
Bijan.
yeah, with more carries.
But I don't think you're acknowledging the gap between the Lions and Falcons line, because if we pull up rankings, the Lions are like number 1 or 2.
Yeah, the Lions
and the Falcons are like
have-
14, 15 at best.
Yeah,
But if
I would agree.
I pulled up the rankings one time and you like
I mean, I'll pull them up.
you told me what
He
to-
said bullshit.
Yeah. You could convince me.
You could sell me on Gibbs over Bijan. You could sell me on Bijan over Gibbs. You can't sell me on Rashad
If I
White
could
over
have,
Gibbs.
That's
but
crazy.
The
I
crazy
could get
thing to
sold
me
on
is like
White over
start and
Jameer,
bench.
but not
I have
White
them both
over
either
Bijan.
way. So say I start Gibbs, I got Bijan on the bench. I'll switch them if one's playing better than the other. So I'm
My thing
chilling.
is,
But I'm not picking Russ.
I will acknowledge there's not
dude, that's
there's not
crazy.
anything that
I
all
think
three
he
of these
clears.
running backs, there's not anything that these 3 running backs can't do. So I get the argument. They're all purpose guys. All of them can do everything. But Bijan and Gibbs are so much more, if you just watch them run, they're so much more explosive, even if they're not as consistent.
They're quicker for
They're so much
sure.
twitchier as running backs.
Maybe crazy take, but I'd rather have K9 over Rashee White. So
Over Rashad White.
Yeah,
I think I'd take K9 over him. I think it's I'd take
K9's
I think if you put K9 in here, it's a
K9's
closer
nice.
discussion than Bijan and Gibbs against K9. I'd still cut K9.
Yeah, I would too.
Sean changed my mind about this mid-season because I was sold on Kenneth Walker over Gibbs, and he changed my mind about it.
Yeah, K9's, I don't know. I
Gibbs
feel like
Gibbs and
he's
Robinson are top 10
patient.
running backs to me.
I feel like in the playoffs, Gibbs and
Robinson
just proves like
Gibbs
how
is-
good he is.
I don't think Gibbs is as good as his hype is. That's my
It's not hype. It's how he's playing. It's people watching.
My
the game,
question,
and it's
the
good.
question that I need to see
It's not
answered, the question I need to see answered from Jameer
Hype is
Gibbs,
like
and this is to speak to your point that you just made too. My question with Jameer Gibbs is, you talked about more carries doesn't necessarily mean like better, because even though you get more chances, that's also more times to get stopped for a loss. If we took David Montgomery off the Lions, would Jameer Gibbs, obviously his numbers would get higher, but how much better? Would his yards per carry dip because all of a sudden he's got to take those 2 or 3 yard losses that David Montgomery would be playing?
For sure, because David Montgomery is that like a
pretty much just as good as Montgomery.
I would say that, yeah. I would stand on that.
Tyler Algier.
Algier and David Montgomery. I think Monty's better. I think it's very close.
So
I think Monty's a lot better.
Bijan's just got the exact same thing as Gibbs.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying is
Yeah.
I see his argument in the sense that Rashad doesn't rotate out. He eats those losses and bad carries.
Yeah, those like
Our guys rotate, and so they get to run on fresh legs and get switched up with the defense and get those power backs in first. Rashad White doesn't get that.
Yeah.
He doesn't have another running back to keep him fresh.
That's a good point. I didn't think of
So-
that. I kind of was just thinking about the Jameer Gibbs part. I didn't realize that the reason why Rashid has so many fucking carries and he can lose yards because of all this.
Right.
carries.
Because there's not another running back on the team to steal his carries the way that the Falcons and the Lions have.
Yeah.
So I stand on the fact that I would say Gibbs and Bijan are pretty interchangeable, but I'd prefer Bijan personally, and I would cut Rashad White. But I get what you're saying.
Yeah, like that's why
he's got to eat the
just-
losses
yeah,
that these guys don't.
Yeah,
like,
he eats a fuck ton.
So,
So
it goes Gibbs, Robinson.
yeah, we each take one. He
but-
said he'd bench Bijan and cut Gibbs though,
Yeah.
and I said
would-
I'd bench Gibbs and cut Rashad.
Yeah, Rashad would be my number 1. Bijan would be my
Cut
number 2.
Gibbs.
So I'm just saying, I'm the only one of the 3 of us where my guy's not getting cut.
Do you
Bijan would not get cut.
Do you know how fast Gibbs is? He's so fast.
No, I
But
know
Bijan
he's
is
fast.
Bijan is. I would say they're the same speed.
Yeah,
Bijan doesn't get in the
I
open
would
field.
agree
very
with
much.
that.
Oh, Rashad White.
Oh yeah, he's a lot faster than Rashad.
Rashad's not like a speed.
No,
He's
he's
going
not a
to
fast
Rashi.
guy. He's just like
Oh, like Rashi Rice.
Yeah.
he eats. So
So, all right. What's up?
Is DK Metcalf, Jay Jettas, and Jamar Chase, and I'm putting
This is
DK
close.
at number 1.
If you're answering anything but start Jefferson, cut Chase, or bench Chase and cut DK, I don't start.
I'm putting start.
I'm gonna have the exact same.
I'm
list
cutting
as-
DK.
Really, I'm starting.
Because my thing is, even if people try to say Jamar over Jefferson, I'm like, bro, what does Jamar do that Jefferson can't?
Listen, you say I have crazy takes.
This
That
is
is crazy.
you know how many times I've prefaced a take by saying, hey, look at the Ducks jersey. I'm a biased Ducks fan. He's a Washington and Seahawks fan. That is bias.
If we're in free agency, if we have to sign with
Jettis
one of the
Jettis and
yeah.
Chase are both younger than him, and I would say better than him. And I don't think that's a hot take.
Bro, you're biased. There ain't no way.
This
This is the Washington bias.
It is the Washington bias, 100%. But here's my
Okay.
biggest reasoning for DK.
We're looking like your average casuals again.
DK takes up 2 defenders.
And Jefferson doesn't.
Jefferson does not.
Yes,
no.
he does.
No.
Yes,
No.
he
No.
does.
No. 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 No.
They
No.
put
No.
What?
No. If we're playing,
What?
if we're playing the Dolphins, and you have
Jalen Ramsey and safety helper on Justin Jefferson if we're playing.
No. Jalen Ramsey is one-on-oneing Justin Jefferson. Jalen Ramsey is not one-on-oneing DK Metcalf.
What?
There's no way, bro. Jalen Ramsey can for sure take him one-on-one. Jalen Ramsey cannot take DK one-on-one.
Why?
Because the size.
We've seen Justin's catch radius is better.
Justin catch radius
And
is better.
he's
I will
6'1",
agree.
6'2", whereas DK's 6'4", it's only 2 inches of height.
No,
and he has a
but
better
the
catch
size,
radius.
the size, bro. Justin Jefferson is like 195 wet.
He's
DK
still
Metcalf is like
Jefferson's like
240.
210.
But this is
And Jefferson's a better route runner, better hands, better catch radius.
This isn't a boxing ring, bro. Like at the end of the day,
I
on the
still
field,
will take
it's-
DK Metcalf
all
over
it-
Justin
yeah,
Jefferson
It doesn't matter how big
on
you are.
any route,
All,
any jump
all
ball,
Jalen has to
any
do is
fucking
don't-
get a
route.
finger in there.
We don't even have to touch. We don't even have to touch Justin Jefferson because here's my counter to you, and I know you don't have an answer for it. We saw Jamar Chase go absolutely nuclear against the Cardinals this year, didn't we? He had one of the best games, if not the best receiving game by an individual all season. Has DK ever done that? Ever?
No, because he has Tyler Lockett, Kenneth Walker behind him.
And he didn't have T. Higgins playing against the Cardinals?
Yeah, I was gonna say.
And Tyler Boyd? And Joe Mixon? Oh,
I'm sorry.
He's
Like-
never even had Jamar Chase's best game. What's he going to do with Jettis who had 1,010 games? Didn't DK have like 1,100 yards this year? Jefferson had 1,010
He
games.
gets double teamed all the time, bro.
Oh my
He's
God.
got
Justin
the
Jefferson was
Aaron
playing on
Donald
a bad
effect.
knee and still
Aaron
fucking
Donald.
1,000.
You're telling me Justin Jefferson, where his only other weapons is probably TJ Hawkins.
Jordan Addison.
And Jordan Addison is a weapon, but we didn't know that until halfway through the season.
Till the Niners game, really.
Yeah.
The Niners game is when we found out about Jordan
So you're
Addison.
telling me Justin Jefferson, they're not going to put double on him just because they can?
I'd still take DK Metcalf over.
That's crazy.
any of that.
I don't think there's anything he can do that Jefferson can't, and I think there's things Jefferson and Chase can do that he can't.
Plus, Justin,
Really? Like what?
That catch against the Bills, is DK making that catch? No.
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 That catch was
How about the catch
insane.
even against the Lions from Nick Mullins this year? Did you see that catch?
Yeah, I did see that catch.
Would DK make that
would
catch?
definitely
I don't
make
think
that catch.
Jamar would even make that catch.
DK's hands are big enough, he would make that catch.
it's not about
He would
hand
definitely make
size.
that
It's
catch.
about it's.
No, it's about intangibles. It's about holding on.
Justin Jefferson has a lot more drive than DK.
Here's my
I will
thing to
give
you.
that
Here's my counter that I will
100%.
give to you. There is plays where Joe Burrow and Kirk
That's
Cousins would
drive.
say,
It's faster.
"Fuck it, they're out there." Gino
Actually,
does
that's
not
fine.
say,
DK's
"Fuck it,
faster.
DK's out there." He
DK's
doesn't
so
do that.
fucking fast. I
But when
forget.
Drew Lock did that against the Eagles, DK went off.
No,
Yeah,
that was
DK
JSN.
DK went
That was
off.
JSN, the one that caught the game winner.
No,
That was
no.
JSN.
DK had like
Yeah,
three
JSN did that at the end of the game.
But here's what we're gonna say.
Had like a whole
Game
fucking,
on the line against the Eagles. They went to JSN. There is no
Yeah, because there
world
was
where the
double
Vikings are throwing to
teamed
someone
on
else.
fucking DK
And the
Metcalf.
difference is the
Because he had been getting the
Vikings
ball all
would still
game.
throw it to Jefferson doubled. They wouldn't care. They would still throw him at doubled.
Yeah, they would. That's what Kirk would definitely.
Maybe not Jamar. Maybe they would say, we'll go to T. Higgins instead.
Bro.
The Vikings would see him double covered game on the line and say, I don't care.
I had
I
DK
don't
on my fucking fantasy. I started him.
He's not a great
He hurt me. He
fantasy
hurt me in fantasy. He hurt me.
The one time I didn't start him though was when he finally had a fucking good game and it was against Dawson.
The crazy thing is, your counter is that he's got Tyler Lockett around him. Tyler Lockett is the worst number 2 of the 3. Jordan Addison's better than Tyler Lockett.
No way.
Yes, he is.
No
he
way,
decimated
bro.
the
Tyler-
49ers.
No.
He
Ty-
decimated
no,
them.
no, no,
Brock's
no.
your boy. What did
Tyler-
Jordan Addison do to that defense?
Bro,
he
Tyler
terrorized
Lockett
them.
is a better receiver than Jordan Addison, 1,000%.
No, he's not.
Yes, he is, bro. Have you ever seen him on
That
a
one
deep ball?
catch that
He
Addison
doesn't put his
got,
hands up. He runs back and waits till the ball right plops in, and he just goes, boop, thank you. Jordan Addison doesn't know how to do that. Tyler
Even
Lockett
then-
is 5'8", and he has way more yards.
Jordan,
than him.
the Vikings, Justin Jefferson competes for targets more than DK does on the Seahawks. Because he also has TJ Hawkinson on his team.
It's true.
He's competing. The Bengals, he's competing with T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd and Joe Mixon for targets. DK competes less for his targets than our guys do
But
and
Gino
doesn't do
doesn't
as
like
good.
us.
Plus
He-
DK,
no, he likes to be a
there was
system
injuries
quarterback.
on the Seahawks where DK got more targets because of it.
This DK had worse numbers competing with less talent for targets.
DK's better than both.
Justin Jefferson is the best wide receiver in the NFL.
I get it.
No
Other than
way!
maybe
No
Tyler.
way! No,
Tyreek's the only
feel
one
like-
close.
No, he's top.
If I was
It's
sitting-
Tyreek and Jefferson, then
Your
everyone
take
else.
would be like me if like I love Brock Purdy and I would love to say he's better than Patrick Mahomes, but he's not. That's what you're doing right now.
It's Jefferson and Tyreek, then everyone else. That's how it is.
Yeah.
You can't watch this past season and tell me I love Jamar Chase, I love Stephon Diggs. It's Jefferson and Hill than everyone else.
Jefferson's better than both Stephon Diggs and Jamar Chase. I would agree.
He's better than Tyreek Hill in terms of efficiency.